So, in this episode, I want to talk to you about how you need to revamp your CEO schedule to get to your next income growth. I often get the question, Elizabeth, I just really wish I had more time in a day. But the reality is, like everyone else, we all have the exact 24/7, right? So, as you're thinking about how do you get to your next income growth, let's talk about what your schedule looks like. Our to-do list is never done, right? And so, as the business owner, founder, CEO of your business, I want you to ask yourself, what should a CEO be doing in your business? Oftentimes, we start our business in the beginning because we are seeking passion. We are seeking freedom in our income. We seek creativity, right? As a producer in our business and as our business begins to grow and scale, we have to start shifting our impact to a greater impact. How many more lives can we touch? How many more lives can we begin to make a difference in? In the CEO role, the empowered CEO, we have to start focusing more on our vision. We have to start feeling that every single day. We're more focused on guidance, guiding our teams, guiding the messages, guiding and connecting the dots all across our business so that we're creating a consistent experience with our market, our audience, and our customers, right? As a big role of CEO, when you start running your business and no longer working in our business, it becomes our job with the vision, right? With the guidance to start to look at what's next in our market, what's next in our industry, what's next for our customers. And we have to begin to start to get into that discovery mode or the research and development. If you worked in corporate, we did a lot of that, where you have to start looking and anticipating what's next. Where is the market and industry going? What do my customers need next? So that you can begin to lead and guide and create that next vision for your business. Our CEO time will only become what we decide it to be. It will only become what we time box it to be. So let's talk about three areas that I want you to really dial in order to get to your next income growth. The first question to ask yourself is, are you graduating from a task or a skill set? Many times, especially when we're at the startup of our business, and even when we're at growth, we're constantly having to learn and unlearn. I don't know about you, but there are so many programs from coaching to courses and books that I have invested in, just trying to grow my mind, grow my skill set, trying to grow my mindset in just so many different ways. So how much learning is really too much, right? But wherever you are in that stage of business, a big piece that I want you to challenge yourself on is to really focus on what is that one mindset, skill set, or task that I need to master well enough so that I can begin to delegate it. And many times we don't think about this in our business. We're just so busy doing. So I'm often advising my clients to focus and prioritize the tasks that are closest to the sales. I call them show me the money task. So what are the tasks or skills that you need to master? And how are you graduating from them? How are you investing your schedule to learn it, try it out, revise and adapt it, and then figure out, how do I begin to delegate this so I can move myself out of doing this task? I can stop being the bottleneck for me. And many times in our schedule, we're not thinking about that. We're often just doing, and not really thinking about how much time am I going to give myself to master this task, to master the mindset shift that I need, to master the skill set that I need so that I can delegate it, outsource, and hire help or train my team on this. A good tip is to give yourself at least a quarter, 3 months on a new task that you are looking to master, and then go all in on it. If it's how to close a deal, do nothing else but focus on mastering that. If it's how to copyright, do nothing else but how to focus on your messaging and copywriting, right? As you begin to think this way, you're going to start to see that your time will become accumulative with the next income growth that you're looking for. So ask yourself, how long are you taking to graduate from certain tasks or skills? This is so important. I was working with a client who just was trying to conquer content creation and videos and lives. And many times when people first start out in their business, this is probably one of the hardest, biggest shifts that they need to make in terms of mindset and skill set. I had a client who just did not want to get in front of videos, and she just didn't want to do it. She just didn't feel like she could be consistent with posting every day. So we had to start somewhere. I said, could you commit to posting twice a week? Could you commit to maybe doing pre-recorded videos once a week and then work your way up? It doesn't matter what and where you start. It just matters on what you can commit to on a consistent basis, right? Now, ultimately, ideally, I want to see my clients on social every single day. I want to see them doing at least a video at least once a week at a minimum. But all of this can take time to master. For those businesses that are a little bit further along, they already have teams doing this. So then the next challenge for you is, how well are you training your team to repurpose your content and make it their own, add their own spin to it, add an insight to it to make it their own, right? When you spend too much time, too long on this, like this one client, she spent nearly almost a year just doing this. She thought maybe she was too disorganized. She thought maybe it was her messaging. She thought maybe it was her mindset. She sliced and diced this so many different ways that after nearly a year of working with her, I said, look, you've got to decide. If this is not your strength, you've got to outsource this. You have been trying to tackle content creation and your schedule for nearly a year. When are you going to graduate from this? If you can't graduate from content creation and create some sort of consistency with how you create content, with your consistent messaging, or with a schedule that works for you after a year, how do you then get to that next level in your income growth? You just can't. You're constantly battling the same issues over and over and over again. That's going to hurt you, right? Why is this so important to think about the task, the skill set, mindset that you need to master and how to graduate? Because as the CEO of your business, your priority and focus needs to be on these 5 core pieces in your business. Just take a moment and think about this. As a CEO in your business, and we're looking to grow our income to the next level, where do you think you need to spend your time and energy and focus? I'm often advising my clients that you've got to be, one, having conversations. What conversations, consultations, right? Conversations equal sales. If you're in startup, you're having the conversations yourself, you're networking, you're going out there, you're looking and talking to people. If you've got a team, you're still networking, building relationships, talking to your teams, helping coach them on how to generate leads and close. Conversations equal sales. How much of your time are you spending on that? The second area that you need to be focused on is visibility. How often are you on someone else's platform? How often are you doing a podcast interview with someone else, or maybe featured in someone else's event, or maybe leading a workshop or hosting an event? How often are you showing up on someone else's platform to create visibility for you and your business? The third area is content. You can hire an amazing agency or an amazing marketing team to help you with content creation, but you still need to show up on video. You still need to show up in a post or an email that looks like it was your profile. So, how are you with managing your schedule and your time with conversations, visibility, and content? These are the three critical priorities and focuses that, as a CEO on your schedule, are non negotiables. It may look a little different when you are at different stages of your business, but this is where your priority and focus must be. These are the three things that will either make or break your next income goal, right? So if you haven't graduated, let's say from content creation, and you're spending literally hours and hours a week on content creation, re-recording because maybe you're stuck in perfectionism mode, how do you even get to having time to have conversations to get to the sales? That doesn't serve you. What are the other two areas as you begin to grow your business that you should focus on? So we talked about conversations slash consults. We talked about visibility. The third thing was content. So what are the two other areas you need to focus on? Client delivery is the fourth one. How often are you spending delivering services to your client? This can be VIP. This can be group programs. This can be one-on-one coaching, right? How many hours a week are you spending on this? Client and teams should have no more than 20% of your time, because where is the rest of your time? Conversations, visibility, and content. So if you're finding that when you look at your schedule in the last month, the last quarter, that nearly, let's say 80% of your time is spent on delivery, whether it's delivering your operations, delivery of services to your clients, where do you make room to have the conversations that convert into sales, right? That's not going to help you get to your next income growth level. Okay. So think about the priority and the focus in your business that is going to make or break how you spend your time. This is so key. And this ties again to mastering the skill set or the mindset or the task that you need to graduate from. Is, for example, if you know that your challenge in sales is closing, what does it cost you when you don't try to master how to close the deal? For a client of mine, it was costing him $3,000 for every single sales call that he got a no on. Guess where he thought he needed to focus his priority and his energy? He thought, I need to focus on my messaging. Maybe it's my offer. I said, no, we've already tested your messaging. We've already tested the sexiness and appeal of your offer, and people are interested. Where we're losing it is when somehow they're on that call with you and we're getting the no's. So that's costing you $3,000 a lead, because the inability to close the deal means that there's no customer yes, means there's no sale. So start to look at how you're spending your time and where, what I like to call, where you're bleeding money, because it's a really great indicator to tell you where you have rooms of improvement. It's not about going back to what you're comfortable with, thinking your messaging, the offer itself will still sell. Sometimes sales is sale. It's still a conversation. Now, 80% of your time, are you focused on the priorities that matter that will give you your next income growth? Conversations, visibility, and content. 20% of your time is spent on clients and team, right? Are you spending too much time in client delivery? Are you spending too much time maybe hand-holding your team? And team here, depending on the stage of business that you're at, can be looking at, how do I outsource, hire help? How do I hire someone maybe to start with project-based or part-time basis, like a virtual assistant to help and assist me, all the way to having an actual team of employees, and you're spending time mentoring and coaching them and helping them grow? Are you spending too much time or not enough time in this area? Part of graduating yourself from a task, a skill set, or a mindset is to begin to give yourself a timeline so that you can graduate from it by also keeping in mind, who am I going to delegate this to? How am I going to outsource this and delegate this so that I can spend more of my time focused on the 3 top core areas of conversations, visibility, and content? That is the balancing act that many people we are faced with, we're challenged with. So how are you doing with that? One of the ways that's helped me is to really think about my time in terms of conversations, teams, client delivery, content, visibility by having theme days. So I will have, for example, Monday through Friday, I will have, let's say Monday is my marketing day, Tuesday is my team days, Wednesdays are my client delivery days, Thursdays are sales and networking days. And then w- Fridays used to be my planning, financials, and business administrative days. And most recently, I actually took out my Fridays and actually narrowed it down to a 4-week work week day and allowed my Fridays to be my flex days, meaning that it's going to be whatever I feel like doing the day that I wake up. And I have to tell you that making this change from a 5-day work week to a 4-day work week has done wonders for me with my wellness, with my mindset, and the productivity in my business. Because by time boxing my work week, I no longer took my time doing all of the things that I need to do in a whole entire week. I only had 4 days. So for my schedule, my CEO schedule, what does that mean when I said I have Friday flex days? It means that I just allow myself that day of, that week of, to figure out what I want to do. I no longer have meetings on Fridays. I no longer have deadlines on Fridays. And I make sure that my team is fully aware that any deadline, any feedback that they need no longer is going to happen on a Friday, but it's going to happen on a Thursday or the Monday when I get back in the office, right? And so no meetings, no deadlines or team meetings or deliverables or feedback to back to the team on a Fridays. Like I am off. So then I use my Fridays as either CEO strategy days. I have maybe masterminds or programs that I enjoy being a part of that I do. I do planning. I just might have alone time. I might spend time with the family or the kids, but Fridays become whatever it is that I feel it to be. There's no pressure to have those deadlines and meetings and things that need to be done. And I have to tell you that since I shifted from a 5-day work week to now a 4-day work week, it has done wonders for me. So we grow into the time space that we give ourselves. That's what's working for me. What's working for you? Are you paying attention to auditing your own time and schedule? Ask yourself that. So let's talk about some immediate next steps for you as we wrap up this episode. First, take the time to audit your schedule for maybe the last month or last quarter, right? Where have you been spending most of your time? We talked about the 5 priority and focus areas, right? Conversation/consult calls, content, visibility, client delivery, right? Look at your schedule for the last month, last quarter. How are those buckets filling up for you? Where do you see the biggest opportunities for growth? 2, as you challenge yourself to master task, skill sets, mindsets, right? How fast are you graduating from those tasks? Are you giving yourself a deadline to go all in to master those task, mindset, skill sets and graduate from them by also thinking about how am I going to either outsource this task or uptrain my team on taking over this task once I master it? We got to think about both of those at the same time. And the third thing is to remember to time box your time. If you don't put a deadline on it for yourself, if you give yourself a to-do list with no deadline, no sense of priority and order, it's going to always be an endless to-do list. Remember that you've got to own your schedule. I love looking at my CEO schedule at least every quarter. So every quarter I'll go out, I'll look at and audit my time. I'll map out an ideal schedule and I will try to mirror my actual schedule to my ideal schedule. And then every quarter I'll go back and relook at it. And it makes sense every quarter, right? Because there might be something new that you are working on that you might like place at the top list of the priorities. So for example, when I was launching my podcast show for that month, for that quarter, everything was related to that podcast. And I gave myself at least a quarter to be like, okay, everything that I need to get done, my mindset, my skill set, graduating from those things that need to be done, the strategy needs to be done, the action plan, the who's going to be doing what. I need to figure all of that out and get it launched by this date in this quarter. Once that's done, I know that then my next quarter, my next schedule, I'm going to probably spend a little bit less time on that. I'll still need to create content, like record podcast episodes, invite guests and things like that, but it's going to take up less of my time. So my schedule is going to flow up and down based on the goals that I've set for myself. But if I am not intentional about looking at that, then how can you begin to see where you're spending time? So remember that by you being intentional about creating the capacity and the space on your calendar to receive the sales and the money that you want and where you're spending your energy or time, that's going to be the key to unlocking your next level of your income growth. And it's going to be ebbs and flows, as you know, in our business. So let me know, what's your best time management tip? What's working for you? When you're doing this exercise, share with me, what insights are you finding that's working very well for you and what isn't? Right? I shared some of my own personal tips on what's working and what is working well for me. I'd love to hear from you as well. So until next time, take care, and I'll see you on the next.